Hello there. Welcome to DC Weddings with Jillian. It's so good to have you here again. Today we have with us Vanessa Young. She is with Little Black Book Events. And along with Vanessa, we did and curated the Real Housewives of Potomac finale last season and another episode prior to that. So we have an expert in the field of doing really top notch events here to tell you how she does this and how she can do it for your event. So, again, this is Vanessa Young with Little Black Book Events. Hello, folks. Welcome to DC Weddings with Jillian once again. I have here today with me Vanessa Young of Little Black Book Events. And Caribbean Caterers has worked with Vanessa. We know and love her business, and we want you to hear about all the wonderful things that she can do for your event. So, welcome, Vanessa. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Jillian. I'm so excited to be here with you all.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Um, I would start with the fact that we've worked with you. We've considered you for our own events, and just as a events professional, I personally appreciate the attention to detail that you give to your customers and the experience that you put together with all sorts of vendors for your customer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, what I'll say is that the details matter. We love the details, right? It's what makes up the bigger picture. But what we do is for our clients is focus on the details so that they can be in the moment. So when we talk to our clients, when we're building events, we talk about how do you want to feel? What experiences do you want, right? So we don't ask them, and we do talk about color scheme, right? Very important. But nobody remembers the color of the cocktail napkins or those types of things, right? But we want to create an experience. We want to create a feeling. We want to create space for memories. So what we do is we take that bigger picture and then we create all the details to create that environment, that optimal environment for our customers to be able to experience all the emotions of their day.
That is wonderful. And from my vantage point, only because I've seen you do it countless times, it's it's easy for us to see and say what you just said because we know all the hard work that goes into it. But when
Right.
a client comes to us and says, "Oh, I want whatever it is they say that they want," how
Mhm.
do you help them maybe translate? And I have a view into the answer. Just in the name of your company, Little Black Book is like Vanessa knows everybody in town who could get something done. So how how do you help them translate something that's maybe something that's been on their mind for many years, or maybe they're just beginning to think about, or whatever might be the case? What techniques do you use to get them from a thought to
Mhm.
actually experiencing this thing that they thought about?
Yeah. So I think there's some questions that are important for clients to think about themselves because sometimes, and I know you've worked with clients where they may think they know what they want or they have something in their head and you got to pull it out and help them make it reality, right? So, I always encourage my clients to think about, what are three things that are very important to you. So, it's the day after the wedding. We're at breakfast, drinking our cup of coffee, reminiscing. What do you want to say about that event, right? What are people talking about the next day? So I think that's important. The other thing is what's not important to you. That's equally important to me as what's not important to you, because then that helps me understand where to focus my attention and where not to focus my attention, right? So if if getting uh, portrait photos of all of your extended family is not important to you, but there's this one spot at the venue that, you know, when the light hits it a certain way, you've put those photos on your inspiration board. We're short of time. I'm going to prioritize that versus this, right? That helps me understand how to move and how to support you on your day to reach your end goal, right? So it's understanding what's important to you, understanding what's not important to you. And then to your point, it's in our name, Little Black Book Events. We have worked in this area for close to 10 years, and valuable vendors like yourselves, we've worked together to build out experience for our clients. And when I talk about vendors, you know, it's not just me. I look at vendors as it's a team sport, right? So not I'm never going to walk into an event not having has spoken to a vendor that's working that event, right? And our job, and I know our vendors, this is part of the reason why our vendors love us so much. Our job is to make sure that our vendors have everything they need to do their job, right? You don't want your photographer moving chairs or picking up trash, right? You want your photographer only taking photos. You want your caterer focused on serving your guests and, you know, making sure that the food is quality and out on time, right? You don't want them focused on anything but that, right? So what we do is make sure that all the other pieces are taken care of so that your vendors can shine and do what they've come there to do. So those are just some of the things that we think about as we help folks figure out how to execute on their vision for their day.
Well, that is wonderful. And I could tell you, viewers, that works. I have seen Vanessa work within that. And everything that she says are things that we employ as caterers just in our little piece of catering. But you have all the other vendors to do the same thing for each and every one of them, and to keep it all straight and to get it all done and make sure everybody's happy and that they can get their job done. And of course, make sure our client is having that experience. There's a lot that's going on all at the same time, and you make it look like a breeze.
It's the you know, the duck with the feet underwater, right? Just keep
Yes,
moving.
indeed.
Yeah,
Nice and calm on the but and lots of stuff going on and behind the scenes.
exactly.
Um, Talking about you knowing everybody in town so that you can match your vendors right to your specific events and so on. I am going to bring out an elephant that I don't even think people know is in the room. We did a couple of Real Housewives of Potomac's episodes together at the end, I guess, last season, the
Last season, yep.
season finale, and the one right before that,
Hmm.
down on the waterfront, and you did a splash. Talk about having a client that is very particular,
Hmm.
needs a specific thing. I
Right.
mean, I think you had the ultimate with those ladies in terms of meeting their need, especially for a series finale, which is usually the creme de la creme.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that and how you came to that and how you came to us
Yes.
um, for that event.
Yeah. So I've been working with Real Housewives of Potomac for a couple of years now, and you know, they approached me about two episodes and helping with decor and catering for those events. And so for me, when I get to select a vendor, and you know, I talk about with wedding clients in particular, you know, I try to understand once again, you know, what the vision is for the event, you know, what they're trying to go for. I never make blind recommendations, so I always try to do things customized. But when I get to pick, especially for events like this, because what I've found in working with them is that things can literally change on a dime, and they almost always do. I need a partner that I know is going to be able to be in the trenches with me and be able to pivot and work through it. And Caribbean Caterers has done that flawlessly with me multiple times. So I knew that I wanted to work with them and bring you guys in for the two events that they approached me about. Um, but with lots of events, right, a lot of times you do have multiple people that you're catering towards. So for a wedding, for instance, it could be the couple, but then it could also be the parents in addition to that, right? And so you're trying to navigate the different perspectives, and there's a little bit of family counseling sometimes that goes into that. So with the TV world, it's the end user, but then it's also the lighting, right, and the camera. So we set things up, and lighting had to add in their pieces to it. And so we had to rearrange certain things because they wanted to be able to get certain shots. At the last one, when we were down on the waterfront, once again, where Jillian just stepped up, we were supposed to serve at a certain time. And our ladies were not ready to go. And I think we got pushed back about an hour. We were losing the light. And then all of a sudden the crews were like, we got to go right now. And, we just we had to go, even though we had requested, hey, we need 15 minutes to get this out when you guys are ready. That of course did not happen. But we were able to make it happen. Right. And we made it work. And so once again, that's why it's so important to choose a vendor team, people that are going to work together, because there are instances where you do have to pitch in, and it is a group effort to pull things off. And so, Jillian in particular has been such a great partner with me in other events. Like I said, when I got asked to do these events, I knew if they were free, I wanted her there with me on site.
Well, thank you for that, because being in the trenches, you really need a partner like you, because I remember that event vividly when you said, we were late. And of course, we didn't get that prep time that we needed to get these crabs. Guys, this was a crab feast.
Yes.
And we're down on the waterfront at dusk. You can't have that thing sitting out there,
Right.
because we want to eat it on set.
Yep.
So no little flies, no little bugs should be buzzing on this thing when the camera rolls. And
Mhm.
so you couldn't set it out and wait. And so now they're rushing. We didn't even have a chance even um to do our usual audit of getting things on the table to make sure everything was there, because everybody was moving with crabs. The chef, the porter, the waiters, me, one of your ladies,
Mhm.
everybody was just bringing bushels of crab and dumping on the table. That's what we have to do,
Right.
because in the end, it doesn't matter. There are certain things that you have to, standards that you have to meet.
Mhm.
And one of the things I always say to my team is, all this crazy stuff can happen in the back. Just don't let it, as long as the client doesn't get
Right.
touched
Right.
by the crazy stuff. But we could fix all of that. You have to think quick on your feet,
Right.
change things really fast, know how to be a good project manager and get people moving to get it done and anticipate anything that could happen. And you are the queen of that right there, Vanessa.
Thank you. I mean, I think there was they had like a recipe change at the last minute, and once
Mhm.
again, Jillian, you were able to make me look good, honestly, and get all of those changes handled very quickly. So I appreciate your partnership.
That's the name of the game. And that's what we do for you guys, for your events. When you have a team of people that know, whether we've worked together or not before, but you know and you understand that it is a partnership. As you said, it's a team sport,
Mhm.
that we have 12, 13, sometimes 20 vendors coming together to put an event on, that it is vitally important that there is that coordinator, planner that's pulling things together, and at the same time minding your vision, at the same time having that view of, what is this, like you said, the day after, what are you going to say about it, what are your guests going to say about it, what's that memory that you're going to take away, how did you feel?
Mhm.
And so this is great. A lot of people sort of miss that and go straight to the rudimentary portions. Well, I did a floor plan and I did a timeline, and no, those things have to be done as well,
Mhm.
but they are they're a necessary byproduct of the main point.
Right.
And that's what we really appreciate about Little Black Book events. And so thank you so much for giving us so much insight about how you work and how you work with your clients. Tell me about one thing, maybe a tip that you would give the listeners about working with you, or that they should know before they work with you, or anything that you want to say to them at this point.
Yeah. So I would say that if you go on and you look on our social media, on our website, you won't see a theme, right? We really work on understanding what's important to you. And I know I said this earlier, but that's really what we focus on. What's important to you? What's going to reflect you as a couple, right? If tradition is important to you, then great. But I'm never going to say, well, traditionally, you should do things this way. It's your party. You want it to reflect you. Another, kind of plug for Jillian, and we planned a wedding at the airport pre-COVID, and they wanted to bring in flags from their different cultures to add to the appetizers and do specialized drinks. That reflects them as a couple. People are going to come in and say, this feels like them, right? So we want your event to feel like you. So, there are trends. There are always going to be trends and things that are popular and all of that, but really try to focus on what's going to reflect well for you all and what's going to be important to you, and what you care about. That's what helps us. And that's what um, helps clients really the next day say, this is exactly what I wanted. Right.
Fantastic. And isn't that what we live for?
It is what we
Isn't
live
that why we work so
for.
hard? Is to hear that, oh my gosh, this was perfect and exactly what I wanted. And
Yes.
just a couple of few words that literally 5 seconds is why we work so hard for so many months to
Mm-hmm.
get to that point for
Yep.
our clients.
Absolutely.
Well, Vanessa,
Absolutely.
this was wonderful. It is great to let our audience know and understand not just who Little Black Book Events is, but how you work and how you work for them, and how you make their day not only all that they intended to be, but all that time working towards that it is not stressful, that it is that you make it so that they can smoothly get there without the stress. I don't know why brides and grooms get so stressed. Can you tell me why?
Oh,
I,
only,
I know.
spending thousands of dollars and, so much anticipation. Yeah, nothing to worry about. We got you covered.
However, I have not worked with a client with you that has been stressed before. At least I didn't see it, so that's good.
That is our,
Um,
that is our goal and when I say this, I really mean it. We want you, for our wedding couples, the only thing we want you to do is be able to show up and get married. That's it.
yes,
That's
yes,
right. So we work really hard to achieve that for our clients, and there's trust, right? They have to trust us to be able to release
mhm,
that and turn it over to us. So we work really hard at that.
correct. And that trust aspect, I believe, especially when you have such a big part of the event as we do in terms of the food and beverage,
Yep.
and as a big part of event as you as a wedding planner would have in terms of pulling the whole thing together. Trust is a major factor. I always tell my brides and grooms, when you are walking down the aisle getting married to this person, you should not be thinking and worrying about what's happening at your reception. You should know, as a matter of fact, that should have happened 2 weeks prior,
Hmm.
where you know, okay, Caribbean's got it, Little Black Book's got it, we're done, we're good, just a few more little last strokes, and we're happy. We once had a bride and groom that did a pre-wedding, what do they call it? A pre-wedding moon. They did their honeymoon, but they
Yeah.
actually were able to go on a week vacation before the wedding, like 2 weeks before the wedding. And
Yeah.
that's because they have competent people on the job that they could just relax and enjoy their few last few moments as before they get married, and just kind of smooth sail smoothly into that and not be pressed.
Hmm.
And that is fantastic. And you allow them to do that. It's wonderful.
The gold standard. It's gold standard.
Indeed. Indeed. We should start doing travel packages as well with our services.
I had a few weeks, an early August wedding, and they did a pre-wedding moon as well too. And I think it does they're able to show up and they're relaxed, and they're really able to enjoy. So I like that. We should start a trend there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Vanessa, once again, I am sure that our audience has enjoyed listening to you, and I know that they should be in touch with you to hear more about your services and to meet you in person. So we look forward to that and seeing you on many more events here in the DC market. So thank you for coming. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jillian. I appreciate it.